Hey, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to build your own Google scraping AI agent step-by-step right inside of Lindy. So for this specific use case, we're going to have our AI agent go out and scrape Google for different LinkedIn profiles based on the criteria that we identify it when we're chatting with our agent. So let me just show you a quick demo and then we'll build it out step by step inside of Lindy. So I've got my Google spreadsheet here. You can see it's blank right now. And we're just going to chat with our agent and ask it to find us some LinkedIn profiles and write it to our spreadsheet. So my chat is right in here and I've got one on my clipboard and I'm going to say, find me 10 VPs of go-to-market strategy for SaaS companies who are based in New York. So that's the entire prompt, and the agent has to go out. It's got to use Google to scrape LinkedIn and write those LinkedIn profiles to my spreadsheet. So let me fire off that prompt and we'll see our agent get to work. So here I have it kind of interpreting my message and breaking it down for my Google search agent to scrape and search on LinkedIn. So what this step is doing is, again, it's taking my input and it's kind of breaking it down into bite-sized pieces here. Then it's going to feed that info into a Google search node here. And we can see what Google is searching for specifically. So this is the query it's running in Google. And here we can see all of the results that it's going to pull in. And now hopefully when we go back to our spreadsheet, it has appended these rows right into our spreadsheet in a matter of seconds. So if I open up this first profile right here, I can see we have Kyle. He is a VP of GTM strategy and he's based in New York. Okay. So this is a very straightforward AI agent. It's going to show you, I'm going to show you how to set this up so you can go out and scrape Google and write the results to a Google spreadsheet. All right. So let's build this out from scratch in Lindy. So I'm in my dashboard. I'm going to do a new Lindy and we're going to start this from scratch. Now let me say there's actually several different ways we could build this inside of Lindy because Lindy has so many tools and so many AI actions. There's many, many different ways that we could build this, but I just want to keep it basic, keep it straightforward and show you the AI agent tool as well as the Google search tool in this video. But just to be clear, there's a million, well, maybe not a million. There's a dozen different ways to potentially build this agent. But we are going to start with our trigger. And I just want to chat with my agent right inside of Lindy. So to start off, we are going to use a chat with Lindy message received. And you can give it a greeting message if you want. You don't have to. These are optional, but you can say things like, please provide information about the candidates you are looking for. Because in this example, what we're doing is we're going to have our agent go out and find LinkedIn candidates. Okay. So that's going to be the greeting message. And you can also give conversation starters. So maybe it's get VPs of sales in SaaS based in New York. Again, these steps are optional, but you can set your message here in your conversation starter. So now we have our trigger and we just need to do our next step, which is going to be an AI agent. Now, the next step is I'm going to add an AI agent here, which arguably is optional because the Google search node or tool could probably parse my message on its own, but I'm going to add an agent step in between, and I'm going to have the agent extract and kind of make a nice output from my messy message. So that'll make sense in a second. So the prompt that I'm going to give this agent is based on the user request, identify the key criteria for finding professional profiles, and I should really say professional LinkedIn profiles. Job title, industry, location. If company is mentioned, identify that too. Clearly state the title, industry, and location, because I want to pass that information off until the Google search action later on. So again, this agent is going to take my message and it's going to clean it up and pass on the message to the Google search tool. Now, one thing here with an AI agent step is that we need to give the exit condition, meaning when should this agent stop working, right? So what I'm going to say here is exit once you have processed the user's request and do not ask for confirmation to continue, right? So every time you use an AI agent step in Lindy, you need to give it an exit condition. So you're basically telling the agent, when can I get out of this chat? When can I stop working and let the automation continue? So I'm going to give it that exit condition. Let's give this a new name, Google Agent YouTube, and then we can turn this Lindy on. All right, so we've got our message received. So this is coming through the chat function, which I'll show you. Then the agent is going to take that message and kind of parse it out and pass it on to the next step. All right, so the next step is I'm going to add a Google search step. I mentioned there's several different ways to do this. So I could give this AI agent actually a skill. So I could give it a Google search skill. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go kind of step by step by step. So message, AI agent, Google search. You can give your agent different skills or different actions, but I'm going to do this just a different way because I just want to show the Google search step on its own. So I'm going to add a new step here. I'm going to do perform an action. I'm going to go to Google, and then I'm going to do a Google search. Okay. So again, I'm going to pass that message from the agent over to this Google search node here. And for the query, I'm going to change this from auto, meaning, this Google search step could try to come up with the actual Google search on its own, but we're going to prompt it instead to give it a little guidance. And for this prompt, what I'm going to say is search Google for LinkedIn profiles using the job title, industry, and location identified in the previous step. And then I'm going to give it an example of the actual search to run in Google, like a LinkedIn site search. And this last step was actually pretty important when I was initially building this out. It was using quotes in the search, which really narrowed down the results. It tells Google to search very specific phrases, which you don't really want to do because Google is going to only show you results that have those specific phrases. And I was not getting good results when I was testing this out. So I told this Google search step to not use any quotes, and it made the results significantly better. Just an FYI there. So we're going to use that prompt. I'm going to keep the results at 10. The location I'll leave as auto, and we're going to use Sonnet here as the model. So let's save that. So now we have the message going in from the user. The agent is going to parse that message, pass it on to the Google search node. And all we need to do next is add our Google Sheets writer. And if you want, you can test this agent flow at any point. So you can see the test button up here. And so it's going to ask you to come up with a message to test, right? So I could say project managers at pharma companies based in Boston. So let's send that off as our test message, and we should see our agent get to work here. All right, so here's my prompt over here. This is the agent kind of confirming the request, summarizing the information, and then passing it along. And now we can see that it's sending it off to the Google search, and we can go into the Google search node over here, and we can see the actual query that it's using. So it's doing a site LinkedIn search, project manager, pharma, and Boston. So those are the keywords it decided to use. And we can see the results here inside of Google. So there's going to be several different fields that it's pulling in. So it's pulling in the title in Google, the URL, the redirect link, the favicon in Google, the snippet and the rich snippet for each result. So we can see the results that it's pulling in from Google. And if I pulled this search up and threw it in to Google, I can see that this is the actual Google results. And what we're going to get here is going to be slightly different because I'm based on the East Coast and this is running the Google search in San Francisco. So you're going to get slightly different results, but we can see Jessica over here is the second result, and over here she's the number one result. But the agent is basically pulling in all of these results from Google into our Lindy agent over here. And then what we want to do next is have the AI pass in the relevant URL into Google Sheets. And I want to show you kind of how smart Lindy has built these steps out, because in a normal automation like Zapier or maybe make.com, you would have to map these fields here, right? Because think about it. The Google node is returning several items, right? The title, the link, the redirect linked. But what do we want in our spreadsheet, right? We want the LinkedIn profile URL only, but we don't actually have to map that out. Lindy is smart enough to figure that out. So let me show you that step. All right, so we only need one more step. I told you this was a really easy agent to set up. So again, we want to pass those Google search results into our Google Sheet, which, by the way, I have cleared out, so it's now blank. So we need to add a step here. We want to perform an action, and we can scroll to Google Sheets, and we want to append multiple rows. Make sure you do rows, not row. I made that mistake when I was testing this out. So select multiple rows. And what you're going to do is, if you're not hooked up to your Google account, obviously you need to do that. So select your Google account, select the spreadsheet, select the sheet title. Now, what I was talking about before is in a normal automation builder like make.com, you have to do so much manual mapping, right? In the previous step with Google search, it's outputting several items of JSON, basically. It's the title, it's the URL, it's the favicon, and you would have to manually map the correct result, which we want, which is actually this URL right here. You would have to map that in make.com to the Google Sheet step. But with Lindy, AI is baked into pretty much every single step of your automation. So for the rows, right, saying the rows to append to the sheet, if we just keep this on auto, we're basically telling the AI, figure it out on your own, right? We have LinkedIn profiles as the header, which is actually not that descriptive, but it's gonna know, hopefully, that what we want are the profile URLs, right? That was part of our chat. That was part of our prompt. So there's no mapping. It's all AI is baked into every single step. So I don't need to do anything at this step. I'm going to leave the model as Sonnet. Again, I've got the spreadsheet selected, the sheet selected. So let's just save this. And now we are ready to test this out. All right, so let's test it out. We've got our message received, AI agent, our Google search step, and our Google Sheet append row step. So in Lindy, again, when you want to chat with your agent, just go into tasks, do new task, and you can see it's saying, please provide information about the candidates you are looking for. So for this round, what I'm going to do is, all I'm going to say is founders of AI companies based in San Francisco, right? And the AI agent is going to parse that message out, send it to Google search, which is going to search LinkedIn, find those results, and write them all to my spreadsheet. And in Lindy, it's going to show you every single step of the way in this task view, so you can see if there's any errors, you can see if there's anything going wrong, you can see every step. Right now, it looks like it's already done. So this is the AI agent step. It's kind of confirming our message. Again, this is actually probably an optional step. I think the Google search node could figure it out, but it's going to pass this info on to the Google search. And so this Google search web agent is, again, searching for this specific query inside of Google. It's a LinkedIn site search with these keywords, one after the other. We did max results 10. It's searching from San Francisco. And these are the results, right? There's the first result, April who, Amar here. And again, in a normal automation builder like make.com, not to repeat myself, you would have to map the correct item in this JSON to the next step in Google Sheets. But in Lindy, we don't have to do that. You can see it automatically figured it out. AI is baked into every single step, and it's baked into this Google Sheet step. So it knows intelligently that I want the URL of the LinkedIn profile. So let's open up a couple of these. And we can see here's April. She's the founder of this AI 3D animation, and she is based in San Francisco. Now let's open up this one as well. So we've got Amar. He is a co-founder of this company, train and deploy Soda Vision Matrice.ai, so an AI company based in San Francisco. So it nailed my request. It gave me 10 results. That took about 30 seconds for it to process that, all from a single prompt right inside of Lindy. So hopefully that gave you an idea of how you can set up your own Google scraping AI agent right inside of Lindy, and how much easier it is to use Lindy than something like N8N. I do think Lindy right now is the best platform for building AI agents. It's significantly easier and it's really powerful. AI is baked into every step of your agent process. So if you enjoyed this content, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments below what kind of AI agent you want to see next.